What's up, guys? IC Trades here, and today we're going to be doing a technical analysis breakdown on ticker symbol SMCI, Supermicrocomputer Incorporated. And in the last video, if you guys have been following the channel, we said that SMCI was going to, hold higher, as this was the last candle that we were covering, hold higher in this overall range. It wouldn't get pushed down further, and that is exactly what has been happening. We've seen some tight price action. Now the question is, will price squeeze up, or are we going to trend further down into the bottom of that consolidation range? Now, guys, kicking this analysis off on the weekly time frame, we saw that flag and pole like structure, right? Getting in that pennant, we break out, buyers really in that control, reaching the all-time highs of 122.90. And we see a little bit of chop with this descending resistance and this ascending support. Price really chopping around here. We flush that, we get all the way back down to that $17.31 level. And we see some really major resistance around that $47 point. And that is a level we've just reclaimed, guys, as we are trending around that $48.56 level, which is very important. If we can really break out of this, guys, we've been battling this exact resistance for some time. Get under to that 17 level, we find that ascending support. Try to retest, get right around that level, reject. Get over that level for one weekly candle, we reject back under. Then we get really tight, guys, on this ascending support. Find that leg up. Once again, reject right off that level, and then tight price action, guys. We see that price really starts to squeeze up in this ascending nature. Ascending, and we kind of just squeeze above that important level, above that $47 level. We see a little bit of a doji on the weekly time frame. So this does indicate a little bit of indecision, but if the buyers can ultimately blow past that zone, guys, we're looking really good for the long term of SMCI. As if we can get past that $47 zone, the fact we broke out of this longer term resistance level here, we would be looking pretty clear to that $66.44 level, where that would be our next major zone that we would want to pay attention to as we wicked off there. And that was kind of the bottom of this, ascending profile here. So weekly looking pretty good, guys, as long as we can really reclaim that zone and get past that $47 level nicely. Since we are only $1 above that zone, we still kind of are in that territory of getting over it or rejecting. So we'll have to see if buyers gain that advantage or if sellers gain that advantage. Right now, pretty neutral, and we are in a pretty good position given that, ascending profile. Now, guys, on the daily, we see a better viewpoint of how the stock got crushed, getting all the way under from that ascending support. We break that, we get back to that 37.73 level. Find another ascending support, cannot hold, and we flush all the way back down. So very volatile. The stock is extremely volatile at this point, right? We're seeing these big swings down, big swings up, hit the floor of 17, boom, boom, boom. Buyers buy all the way back up to that $47 level that we were touching up on. Retrace all the way back down below that $29 level. Buy back up, getting out of that long-term resistance. Cannot hold, we get crushed all the way back down. Find this kind of pennant range here. Get crushed again, another pretty volatile consolidation range. But then you guys can see here, after that consolidation range, right, chopping around, we see this beautiful wide bar, guys, just textbook wide bar. And what that signals is a shift in direction and a shift in the pattern as we were chopping around, guys. Tight in this range, and then get back below here between that 29 and 37, and boom, volatility, right, guys? Volatility. We aren't in a tight consolidation whatsoever. We're up, down, really battling, as we saw right here, guys. Another textbook volatile consolidation range, right? Battling for that position, battling for that control. And then you see that very volatile spike up. Once sellers try to push it down, but buyers gain that advantage, they say, nope, sellers are not going to push this back down to this ascending support. They step in and then boom, break right through that resistance. And you see a beautiful run all the way up, but we just tapped at that 66 and we couldn't hold above that. So this shows, guys, once again, same exact consolidation range, right, between that 29 and 37. See that pretty volatile chop. This is not tight consolidation by any means. We're talking about pretty much a $9, back and forth, right? And then we get that beautiful wide bar, which signals that shift in momentum, really showing that buyers are gaining that control. And we get that gap up at the top of that range. And instead of all this volatility that we saw, guys, we see price really tighten up here. We tighten up at the top of this range. We're not bouncing around. We're not going crazy. Finally find a moment where we tighten up. And all of these candles for the newer traders here are a day. So this is every day here. And you see how many days in a row we really stay at the top of that range. We don't get pushed back down. Like every time we've seen the top of that range, we hit that, we get pushed right back down. We hold very nice up here, guys. Finding that ascending support and kind of just squeeze out of that. If you've been following the channel, pretty much just like SoFi, guys. Very similar, as SoFi broke out of this longer term range here. And we just kind of squeeze out. You see that buyers getting that control, hitting that floor, and we just kind of squeeze out of there. There's no extreme volatility or volatile move out. We just kind of squeeze out. So very similar in that sense. We gain this resistance as support. We see a pretty textbook red wide bar, but we tapped that resistance. So now we're seeing that buyers are gaining a very important resistance level as support, really aiding that movement up. So we see 1, 2, 3 green candles breaking above that 47, very stubborn $47 level. And you see sellers try to push back in because it's a very stubborn level. So if there's any level the sellers are really going to step in, it's right here, guys. So we see them try to push it back down. We close slightly below that level, but then buyers buy it right back up. What do we see here? Some selling pressure. It really indicates that we're going back and forth here in this range, but the important part is we haven't retraced it. We've seen that nice move up. We've retraced not really even half of that, holding nicely above in that range between that 47 and that $50 level. But once again, we see a nice green wide bar indicating that buyers are still in this game. And in the most recent candle, the sellers gained that control, but we are still trending fairly above that, $47 level at 48.56. So if we can see buyers step in here even more and break through that 50, looking extremely good for SMCI on the medium to long term, guys. Really not a lot holding us back to that $66 level. And furthermore, from there, this is it's a stock that's prone to these very volatile movements. So if we saw stock really break here, we should be definitely seeing a movement where, we got in the past here on this giant run up. We're talking about a 100% movement, guys. So realistically, if we saw a nice breakout here, wouldn't be impossible or crazy to say would be getting around, that's probably around that $90 level, roughly. Yeah, that $84 level. Wouldn't be insane to see something like that happen with SMCI, as it is prone to have movements just like that. So liking what I'm seeing here, guys, definitely favor with the bulls, given we are on a nice ascending run up here. We have held tight relative to this very volatile and choppy range. We've broken out, use that extremely important marker as support. Beautiful leg up, and we're holding tight. So looking great for the buyers. I think we do get that leg up, break out that $50, $70 level. And if we do see a lot of chop between that 50 and that 66, that would be new price action, as we've never seen much of any chop between that range. So really liking what I'm seeing here. I think as long as we can get past that $50 level, break out, maybe use that support, bounce a couple times, and further our move up, I think we're looking great here, guys. Definitely leaning bullish on SMCI. Now, guys, on the hourly, we can see just how much of an impact that green wide bar made, as we were chopping around, pretty volatile, right? Chopping in this range between 29 and 37 as we were covering. Get that green wide bar, and we see that leg up. And ever since that green wide bar and that buyer dominance, guys, we've held higher and tighter. So we've held to the top of this range. We've held tighter. So let's try to step in here. A little bit of volatility still. But once we reach the top of that range for the second time in the more recent times, right, on the hourly chart, we see that we hold up here, guys. Where it isn't one of those case scenarios where, we bounce, we see a very volatile move down, or we bounce again, it's another volatile move down. Hit that exact point, and we kind of squeeze out. And then we really solidify our move once, we're up here, and then we come back down and use it as support. That's where you see that big movement up, given that we've used a very major level as support, and we trend all the way to that $50 level. And then you see sellers try to push it back down after getting over a very important spot. You see that we really hold high, guys. We hold high here. Getting over a zone like 47 in the stock would normally trigger a very nice move down, at least to that $44 level. Try to bounce up again, but we see we hold pretty high here, guys. And that's a great sign for the buyers, as they have tested that 47 quite a bit, guys. So I think it is about time that we get that nice move up and we hold. So you saw price go up instead of retracing down to that 44 or even lower, bouncing off this resistance here. We don't get that. We just see a nice move up, really not going down much at all. Retest that movement. You see we go down slightly further, but then we get right back up in that zone. So beautiful price action for the buyers. It is very likely that we see a retest of that $50 level. So if you are a bear, you want to see another rejection, given that if we get another rejection, guys, kind of double top around this exact formation, we would likely be headed to, back to that 47, possibly below it. Given that that would be another retest and rejection, aiding the sellers to step in and push it further down. But yeah, guys, liking what I'm seeing here, I think we look great on SMCI. It's a very important level to claim. So as long as we get over this 50 and use it as support, continue to trend up, I think we look very good here for the long term of SMCI. So that's all I got for you guys today. I think SMCI is in a very good position for the buyers. As for the sellers, you want to see another rejection of that 50, as it's very probable that we retest that zone. If we reject off that 50 again, and then we get below that 47 and reject off that, then you would be in a very good position for the sellers. But in this case, guys, I think we are more prone to retesting that 50, getting over it, and seeing, newer price action, as we haven't seen price really get over that 50 level, besides that one spike up, but that was very short-lived. See that drastic sell-off, and then, just kind of tight price action getting back to that area. We remain bullish as long as we can get over that $50 level, use it as support and continue to trend up. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more SMCI content, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll continue to cover SMCI as well as other major tickers. I appreciate you guys watching and staying for the entire video. Trade smart, guys, and I will see you all in the next one.